the most valuable player. Grabbed first by Neil Smith, then by Shannon Sharp, and then by Mike Shanahan.
John Elway can be the most valuable player for a lot of years, can't he? For some eras.
He was telling us that we were talking with him about missing the game, and he said, you know, people always say you're going to miss the camaraderie, the locker room, the players. He said the thing I don't miss so much is that because I'm so much older than the rest of them.
But what he's going to miss is he's going to miss the competition. He's going to miss playing the game. When you play at the level that John Elway plays, there's not a lot of people in this world that know that level.
And not a lot of people know the feeling that the Denver Broncos have at this moment. Ed McCaffrey, who had a great second half.
Now this is fun. If you're the Denver Broncos player, coach, family, this is fun.
If you're on the other side of the field, it's not.
Now it's the lowest of the low, the highest of the high. And if you're a Bronco, all you can do is giggle. I think that's what John Elway's doing. He can't stop giggling, and I know that feeling. I've been there, I've seen that, and all you do is walk around and giggle.
And you know, the Falcons, they're not the champions. They lose 34-19, but they had so many chances, and that has to linger with them for a long time.
Yeah, they were, you know, they go back, and maybe they left everything in Minnesota. I mean, maybe that great comeback against the Minnesota Vikings, winning in overtime at their place, one of the greatest games I've ever seen. Maybe the Atlanta Falcons left their game up there.
Terrell Davis wound up with 25 carries, 102 yards, and when your team gets over 100 yards, you have an individual who gets over 100 yards rushing in this game, the Super Bowl game. No team has ever lost.
No, and I think the thing you have to give a lot of credit to that offensive line of the Denver Broncos.
Don't you?
I mean, we looked at how Terrell Davis ran, and he had some great big holes there. We also looked at the pass protection that they gave John Elway.
But John Elway wasn't even hurried. They put no pressure on him as well. Coming up, the presentation of the Lombardi Trophy, and the celebration continues here on Fox. Fireworks for Denver's victory as they beat Atlanta 34-19. Here's the headline in today's Sunday Denver Post. Superb number 2. This play of the game is brought to you by First Union. And John, talk about it.
Yeah, remember that was the bootleg we talked about. Again, this is what Terrell Davis does for you. You fake to him going to the left, and look at how open that field is. John Elway goes out to the right, and he throws a perfect pass to Rod Smith.
So coming up on the Pontiac Wide Track post-game show, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have the presentation of the Lombardi Trophy. Interviews with players from both teams and highlights of the game. That's all coming up on the Pontiac Wide Track post-game show.
Live from Super Bowl 33 in Miami, Florida, it's the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix post-game show.
And folks, the bright lights here at Pro Player Stadium, all focusing on one John Elway, who had simply a sensational ball game indeed. Very appropriately the most valuable player in guiding Denver to become the 6th team to win back-to-back Super Bowls. And he's up on the podium with our own Terry Bradshaw.
Thank you. Thank you very much, James Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Fox Sports, let us be the first to congratulate the Denver Broncos on winning Super Bowl 33. I'd like to now introduce the Commissioner of the National Football League, Paul Tagliabue, who will give the Vince Lombardi Award which is emblematic of the world champions, to Pat Bowlen, owner of the Denver Broncos.
Pat and Mike, you faced a very, very tough Atlanta Falcons team at the top of its game. But today, your team, the Denver Broncos, capped another outstanding season with a dominating performance. Congratulations to the two of you and to the whole team on becoming the first AFC team in almost 20 years to win back-to-back Super Bowls. And a special word to you, John. If, and I underline if, this is your last game, On behalf of millions of fans around the world, I want to say thank you to you for so many memorable memories. John Elway, thank you.
Pat, this is your 5th Super Bowl since you own the Denver Broncos. I have to suspect that the best 2 moves that you've made as owner, number 1 was bringing Mike Shanahan back as your head coach, and number 2, convincing, if that's a good word, John Elway into coming back for a 16th season.
Well, I hope I can convince him to come back for a 17th. But I'd like to just say a few things. First of all, I'd like to thank Mike, his coaches, and the team for the greatest season ever in Bronco history, 19-2 and a Super Bowl win. I'd like to thank the fans. I'd like to thank the fans, all the people who worked on the stadium effort and voted for it. And lastly, I'd like to thank my family and my close friends who without whose support I would never be here. 4 words. This one's for you.
Pat Bowlen, owner, Denver Broncos. Mike Shanahan, step in here, Coach. Here, get your hands on that. It's getting to be a...
Feels awful good.
It feels good?
Feels great.
Let me ask you, it looked like if there's one play that turned this game around was the 80-yard touchdown pass to Rob Smith right after Morton Anderson missed the field goal.
You're right. In fact, a little bit earlier, we ran the same play and we hit a comeback route. We came back with the same type of action. John had a little time, did a great job hitting Rod Smith on that post route. It was a big turnaround.
You've seemed to have made all the right moves. This football team has won 32 games in the last 2 years. It has won back-to-back Super Bowls. I mean, if you had to point one finger at one thing, this defense of yours, the adjustments that you made in the second half, the 3 interceptions of Chandler, the fumble, what were the keys in the second half?
Well, Terry, we just got a football team that believes in each other. Every time we go out in the field, we got 46 guys that are committed. And we've had some ups and downs, more ups and downs, but when guys keep on working together and they believe in each other, good things happen. I couldn't be more proud of this football team and the players and our coaching staff.
Now, this is a tough question for you. Are you interested in John Elway coming back to be your quarterback for a 17th season?
I would love John to come back next season. He's going to have to sit down and decide that, but what he's meant to this organization, to this city, and to be able to get 2 Super Bowls in the world, I mean, in 2 consecutive years is just unbelievable. I want him to come back for the 3rd, but he's going to have to make that decision on his own.
All right, Mike Shanahan, congratulations very much. Let's bring in the MVP of Super Bowl 33, John Elway. John. Here you go. Tilt that up high. There you are. It looks like winning Super Bowls is kind of becoming an old habit for you.
It sure is nice to start a little bit later than I wanted to, but it's sure nice to win them.
Let me ask you, John, the first half, a lot of passes to Rob Smith. What were the changes? The second half, McCaffrey, John Madden was talking about well, don't forget about McCaffrey in the second half. Your running game a little sluggish starting off. What were the adjustments that you made, especially when Shannon Sharp went out with an injury?
Well, you know, we always miss Shannon, and we missed him today, but Byron Chamberlain came in and did a great job, and we were getting some things, to Rod in the first half, and they started taking him away, and they were playing us some man coverage, and then Eddie just kept working. That's the great thing about this offense is there's so many different weapons that we can spread the ball around. If they start taking something away, we have someplace else to go.
And this season, you have set so many milestones, 50,000 yards passing, 300 touchdown passes. Today, you're the MVP in this league, going back to another Pro Bowl. On and on we go, John. It's hard for me to imagine. And you told me now, on tape, I've got it, where you said, Terry, if we win back-to-back Super Bowls, I will come back. Now, my question is, now, are you going to keep your word? Are you coming back for a 17th season?
You know what? I don't know. I think that this definitely throws a kink in it, but I'm going to take some time, really relish this win, and it's been a great year. It was a lot of fun, and I got the greatest teammates in the world. I'm just happy that I could play with them, and we'll sit down and figure out what happens next year.
Now, if in fact, no one, John, I have to tell you this, of the 6 teams that have repeated as world champions, no one has ever come back and three-peated. Now, that's got to be quite a thrill. I mean, I would love to have done that. Surely that's got to be crossing your mind even as we stand here right now.
You got to love those challenges. But we got the team and we got the nucleus to here to do it. And so, like I said, it definitely throws a kink in my thinking.
I imagine it does. Let me ask you one thing. How long I mean, last year it took a little longer for you to make a decision on coming back, but will this be a quick decision on your behalf?
You know, I would hope so, but I think that, heck, that's what I came back for, is to enjoy a Super Bowl and enjoy a Super Bowl win. And so, again, I'm gonna enjoy this win and you know, just spend some time with my kids.
I'm not going to let you alone.
I know. And then we'll go from there.
You know what? Give me a call, will you, when you make your decision, so I'll be the first to know.
You got it.
Okay, John Elway, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring in Terrell Davis. Terrell! Here you go.
That's how my baby, you the man.
It looked to me like Atlanta was ready for you the first quarter, especially, Terrell. Not many holes. I know against the Jets, you ran a lot to the left tonight, a lot to the right. It also appears to me that you gave the Atlanta defense a migraine headache.
Well, coming in here, we knew that the Atlanta defense was going to be tough, and it was going to be tough to run the ball on, but John came through in the clutch. He was throwing the ball well, and our team just stuck together and made some big plays. I got to give a shout-out to my teammates down there. They're not getting enough love, baby. There you go. Shout out to my boys down there.
You know, was the plays to Howard Griffith at the goal line, were those new plays put in just for the Atlanta Falcons because everyone expected Terrell Davis to carry the ball?
Well, we saw something in the defense that on the jab play that the fullback was getting in pretty easy, so we decided to put Howard, give him the ball, let him be the hero today. He did a great job getting there, lowering his shoulder, and, you know, taking – where my man Griff at anyway?
Howard Griffith.
Where my man Griff at?
Darren, come here. Let's bring in Darren Gordon. You're making a habit. What is with these interceptions? 2 against the Jets, now 2 today. What did you see in the second half for you that allowed you to make the interceptions, Darren?
Well, first I just want to give all praises to the Creator for allowing us to have this win and just to be here. But, you know, we just went out and the D-line did a great job with the pressure, forced Chandler into some bad decisions, and, you know, I was in the right place at the right time.
Okay, we want to say congratulations to the Denver Broncos. All right, Denver Broncos, world champions, Super Bowl 33. Now, JB, back to you.
All right, Terry, thank you very much. You know, it's amazing that a decade ago, that is, John Elway suffered his most humiliating defeat in Super Bowl history. That, of course, the 55-10 loss to San Francisco. And today, he has become, indeed, a true NFL legend, befitting his certain Hall of Fame status, regardless of when he retires. Let me bring in my colleagues, Howie Long and Chris Collinsworth. And Chris, you said at the top of the day that you thought Denver would throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at Chris Chandler, and they did, and rattled him.
Yeah, they really did. The Falcons never handled the pressure all day long. I thought it was a major difference in the ballgame. And Greg Robinson's defense now, during the course of the playoffs, gave up only 2 touchdowns, one meaningless at the end of this game, and one after a block punt left the ball on the 1-yard line. This Broncos defense was phenomenal through the playoffs.
Yeah, as aggressive as this Denver defense is, Ben, all year, they can come even more aggressive with a lead at their back. Today was no exception. Multiple blitzes. One of the keys to the game before the game was the fact that Atlanta had to recognize the multiple blitz scheme of the Denver Broncos. They didn't do a good job of that.
All right, folks, and when we continue the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix postgame show, we'll show you some of the highlights over John Elway's outstanding 16-year career. And, folks, it has indeed been legendary. 34-19, the final score here, led by John Elway. And, folks, he carries it in on his own. Back with more in a moment.
Entries poured in, but there was no $31 million winner. So this New Jersey woman will have to settle for $10 million.
Yeah, we have that. Please come on, Beverly.
Beverly? Are you Beverly Cook? I'm from Publishers Clearinghouse. You've just won $10 million.
Oh, my God! Oh. $10 million! Oh, my God! Oh, my God!
$10 million!
Bronco fans, your team just won the Super Bowl. Capture the excitement. Order the official NFL Super Bowl highlight video and the official NFL Super Bowl commemorative book together for $39.95. Celebrate with 2 more collectibles seen in the Broncos locker room, the NFL's official championship hat and championship t-shirt together for $44.95. Order both sets now and save $10. Get the complete Broncos championship package for $74.95. Quantities are limited. Call now.
Fox is throwing the Super Postgame Party of the year.
Hey, man, your clock won't flush.
It all kicks off with Family Guy.
Stewie's birthday is gonna suck.
You're gonna pull a party out of your ass. You might want to stand up.
Followed by The Simpsons Super Bowl Spectacular.
We're going to
the Super Postgame Party. Next on Fox. Welcome back to Miami in the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix postgame show.
Elway's in the gun. Terrell Davis to his right. Packers jumping around. They rush 4. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. Elway can run inside the 10. Head first. He dives inside the 5-yard line. My goodness. You want to tell me the 37-year-old man doesn't want to win this game? Man, oh, man. That sacrifice. Oh, man.
That, of course, was John Elway in last year's Super Bowl with the dive, if you will. As you take a look at John Elway now, who has just put together, crafted simply, a sensational game, a 34-19 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. And John Elway had plenty of weapons to go to today, despite the loss of Shannon Sharpe. One of those weapons included Howard Griffith, the fullback, who had 2 rushing touchdowns. He's with Susie Colbert.
Thanks, JB. Howard Griffith, 2 touchdowns tonight. They call you big money. I guess now we know why.
Well, you know, I had an opportunity to make some plays happen for us today, and they called my number, and I was able to make it happen today. So I'm just happy I had the opportunity.
One of the most unselfish players on the team, blocking for the last 2 years for Terrell Davis. Is this kind of like payback?
It is. You know, I think it's starting to give a little glory back to the fullback position. And, you know, I needed to have a game like this so more people will respect the position, and hopefully it'll better our job.
You said in minicamp you believe that this team could get back and repeat. How's the reality?
It's a reality, and, you know, that's the best thing. When you set out and you set a goal and you're able to attain that goal, it's the greatest feeling in the world.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Back to you.
Well, I would certainly think that people do respect that position, the fullback. Howard Griffith, simply sensational. Again, those 2 rushing touchdowns after no rushing touchdowns in the regular season. When we continue, Ron Pitts will be standing by talking with Dan Reeves, who gave it a valiant effort, but his Falcons came up short. And a lot of the reason had to do with this man here, Rod Smith. Play action move by John Elway, and he whips a pass that completes an 80-yard touchdown play. One of many highlights today by the Denver Broncos, who go on to become repeat champions of the Super Bowl. Back with more after this.
The soft drink syndicate knows there's still some people who resist them.
2 pounds in Sector 3, sir.
And they don't like this at all. The 7-Up Underground are people who drink what they like, not what they're supposed to like.
What's with the suits?
And what they like is the crisp, refreshing taste of 7-Up.
Stop those uns!
You must pay for Mr. Squeaky. Do you do what you like? Are you an un?
I will not do this. I will not be a cog in a machine. I will not accept the obsolete. Keep your corporate ladder. Keep your empty mission statements. I will never play by the old rules again.
The rules of business have changed, and Micron PCs featuring Intel Pentium 2 processors are the digital slingshots you need to win.
So, how's the broker biz?
Hey, my client made $2,000 on the market, and he owed it all to me.
What, did you give him some good advice?
I meant he owed it to me. In commissions.
Who's looking out for your investments? E-Trade, the #1 rated place to invest online. Get free real-time quotes, 10 times more research, IPOs, all from $14.95. Isn't it time you looked out for #1? Call 1-800-E-TRADE-1 and see why someday we'll all invest this way.
Welcome to the Baja Gordita Hotline. If you want to talk about warm, pillowy flatbread, press 1. Zesty pepper jack sauce, press 2.
Rau. Here's a fantasy come true. New Baja Gorditas with zesty pepper jack sauce and freshly made salsa, just 99 cents each. Looking for a Valentine's Day gift?
I think I'm in love.
How about a talking chihuahua, now at Taco Bell?
Over 1 million fans voted for the prestigious TV Guide Awards. Best comedy.
Ally McBeal. Frasier. Friends. Everybody Loves Raymond.
Best drama.
ER. NYPD. Walker, Texas Rangers. X-Files.
Favorite actor.
Tim Allen. Bill Cosby. Michael J. Fox.
Favorite actress.
Gillian Anderson. Kim Delaney. Roma Downey. Juliana Martin.
TV's biggest stars live. The TV Guide Awards tomorrow at 8/7 Central. Presented by Excedrin, the headache medicine.
Bronco fans, your team just won the Super Bowl. Capture the excitement. Order the official NFL Super Bowl highlight video and the official NFL Super Bowl commemorative book together for $39.95. Celebrate with 2 more collectibles seen in the Broncos locker room. The NFL's official championship hat and championship t-shirt, together for $44.95. Order both sets now and save $10. Get the complete Broncos championship package for $74.95. Quantities are limited. Call now.
Welcome back to Miami in the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix postgame show.
From the shotgun, looking, fires into the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown by Mark Jackson. And Mel, what a throw by John Elway.
As you take a look at John Elway, memories galore in that head. And, of course, that drive was when Dan Reeves was the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Mike Shanahan is the man at the helm right now. And standing by just a few moments ago with our own Ron Pitts was Dan Reeves, who tried to notch his first Super Bowl victory as a head coach, came up short. Let's check in with Ron Pitts.
All right, thanks a lot, JB. Coach, unfortunately, things didn't work out like you'd planned today, but I tell you what, you did a lot of damage in the NFC this year.
Well, first of all, congratulations to the Denver Broncos. What a great football team to, have the record now for the most wins in 3 years tells you what a great football team they are, and my congratulations to them. We just couldn't get it done. Things that we had done all year very well was, be good in the red zone, and today, we missed a field goal, we missed a 4th down attempt. We settled for 2 field goals. We throw 2 interceptions. You just can't win if you don't get in the red zone and, score a touchdown.
Yeah. What did you tell the team here as you knelt down for the prayer?
Well, first of all, we had an awful lot of things to be thankful for, and I told them a couple weeks ago the highest of highs to win a championship game, the lowest of low is to, lose a Super Bowl. But I was proud of them. We accomplished an awful lot, came an awful long ways. And we want to try to get back. Next year we'd have home field advantage, so that's our goal. We're going to try to have home field advantage.
And that'll help that out. Coach, just over a month ago, you went in for quadruple bypass heart surgery. Not only did the whole team rally around you, but the whole state of Georgia. You have to have an awful lot of pride, not only for your players, but for everybody that supported you throughout this time.
Well, it's been an unbelievable 6 weeks, and what I've been through, the Lord has really, truly blessed me, and I probably appreciate it a lot more because I was on the outside looking in. I really love every one of these players. They've been a very special group, the coaches, the organization. I'm proud of the way we handle the thing. We just didn't play well, and I knew if we didn't play well, we would get beat. But, that's when you play the game. You try to play as well as you can, and our football team did that. We just didn't get the job done.
Yeah, well, there's always next year, and you really built something strong here, and I'm sure the people back in Atlanta.
I hope we keep it going, Ron. Thank you.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much. JB, let's go back to you.
All right, Ron, thank you so very much. A classy man indeed is Dan Reeves. Unfortunately, a Super Bowl win as a head coach eludes him once again. And Howie, when we talk about the number of things that didn't happen for Atlanta, I guess we could synopsize it by saying a number of missed opportunities for the Falcons tonight.
Yeah, one thing we talked about before the game was their ability to pick up Denver's multiple blitz scheme, and Denver did an outstanding job, and they did it from the first quarter on. They brought, as Chris mentioned, the kitchen sink at Chris Chandler, and they didn't handle it well. Turnovers were a big key, as Terry pointed out. It all boils down to turnovers in the end. But in the end, I think when you have to address the game as a whole, the Denver Broncos are certainly the best team in professional football, and they're deserving of the world championship. And this offense is aggressive from start to finish, and it all starts with Terrell Davis, and it finishes with John Elway, one of the greatest players in the history of the NFL.
Let's give a little tribute now to the Atlanta Falcons as well. I mean, here's a football team that was 1-7 to start the year last year, and they have completely turned that franchise around. Dan Reeves went in there and gave them focus, gave them hope, and gave them a trip to the Super Bowl, and that's about as high a compliment as you can pay to a man.
I think John Madden summed it up best in the pregame when addressing Dan Reeves. Dan Reeves is a man's man. He's a football coach. He has nothing to hang his head about. He's had an outstanding career, a guy who I have a great deal of respect for.
Hey, you know what? Can we chide our teammate here who at one point during the season thought that Denver might not be looking too good as they were heading toward the postseason.
You remember that?
Hey, who was that guy who said that?
Did I say that, JB? That's not me. Lynch him.
All right, folks, we will continue with the Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix post-game show in a bit, but let me tell you that the internet poll results showed what was the greatest Super Bowl of all time. Believe it or not, you voted for Super Bowl 32. Last year, Denver's victory over Green Bay, Terrell Davis, 157 yards on the ground.
From the mind and mouth of Eddie Murphy.
Holy moly, Mother Mary and Mary. What on earth the kid? Whitney Houston, we have a problem. I am in deep Shaquille.
It's the season's most daring new comedy.
Don't go in there.
Don't go in there.
Don't go in there.
The PJs, Tuesday after King of the Hill on Fox.
A lot of industry experts tell us the passenger side is the best place for a third door.
It was just an unbelievable thing. You know, I went out there and accomplished something I never thought I could do. When I got 62, it was something that, you know, that I can't even believe what I was doing.
These guys are the best guys that have ever played the game.
The Yankees have done it again. They are the world champions of baseball.
You know, people have saying it's bringing the country together. So be it. I'm happy to bring the country together.
The Pontiac Wide Track Grand Prix postgame show is brought to you by the Wide Track Grand Prix by Pontiac. Wider is better. And by 7-Up. Are you an un?
The name John Elway is throughout the NFL record books. He added his name in one more category, that being his 300th touchdown pass here this season. Last regular season game against Seattle, that touchdown pass to Shannon Sharp put him in elite company behind only Dan Marino and Fran Tarkenton. Well, we also talked about the number of weapons that John Elway has. He's got quite a few, including Rod Smith, the number 3 receiver in the league, and he's standing by with our own Bill Moss.
All right, thanks, guys. How about it, Rod? How many yards did you end up with today?
Do I care?
It doesn't matter.
I had more than I had last year. I know that. I knew I could guarantee I wasn't going to get shut out this year. And, you know, the coaches just gave me a chance to make some plays, and playing with a Hall of Famer like John, man, you just got to go out there and work hard, and that's what everybody on this team did.
Now, what did you see in the Atlanta defense that you knew you guys could exploit coming into the game?
A lot of it is, you know, the fact of how we was trying to figure out how they was going to match up as far as with the receivers and things like that. And they played pretty conventional the way they've been playing all year, which worked to our advantage. You know, on the touchdown call, they made it up on the sideline because they just saw something and said, look, hey, we're going to give you a chance and just see what you can do. And, you know, John gave me a great ball, and I was trying to hit my head on the goalpost.
You almost did, too. And the Denver Post, a superb, too. It's already here. The Denver Post is out tomorrow morning. It's back to you guys.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. One of the many weapons that John Elway had to work with. Well, you know, Chris Chandler, the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, had a sensational season. What a time to pick to have one of his worst games with 3 picks. He's standing by with Ron Pitts.
Okay. All right, thanks a lot, JB. I'm here with Pro Bowl quarterback Chris Chandler. Chris, you guys came out of the blocks fast. You went down and got points early, but then the wheels seemed to fall off, and they fell off in the form of trouble in the red area.
Yeah, we had problems down there. They covered things real well. I mean, it wasn't really any other thing than that. They did a heck of a job taking things away. And, you know, we had the tip pass, which is going to be a big play to Terrence. They get an interception out of it. And me and Tony have kind of miscommunication on the post route, which really left the middle of the field open. That was really going to be another big play, too. And it's things like that, you know, unfortunately happen. There's really no way to explain it. You know, we didn't win.
Yeah. It seemed like they were able to take away the middle of the field, particularly O.J. Santiago. He only had the 1 catch. What were they doing there? Was it all Bill Romanowski locked down on him, or was it something else they were doing scheme-wise?
Well, you know, you need some time to really, you know, set your feet and look downfield when you're going to a tight end down the middle of the field. And Romanowski did a good job covering him, you know. I mean, they fight and battle and hold. And O.J. had a big play on a play-action deal and got caught up in the line blocking. And, you know, it was just, you got to give them a lot of credit. We could have done things better, but they did a good job covering things.
Yeah. All right, Chris, hey, tough year for you. You know, you guys came back, did well, but you're going to the Pro Bowl. and you got to try to forget about this one and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing right now. We had a great season, and you know, today they played better.
Yeah. All right, thanks a lot. JB, let's go back to you.
All right, Ronnie, thank you very much. And in addition to going to the Pro Bowl next week, Chris Chandler can certainly take solace in the fact that he and his wife welcomed their third baby girl into the world just this past week. All right, folks, when we come back, we will have our final thoughts from here at Pro Player Stadium. The confetti celebrating the outstanding victory by a super team, the Denver Broncos. Back with the Pontiac Y-Track Grand Prix postgame show after this.
Oh, yeah, those first ice boats had a lot of speed, but not a whole lot of control. Yeah, with the blades setting early, couldn't steer around the ice fishing holes. Oh, geez, learned the hard way. Wider is better.
With its speed-sensitive steering technology, the Y-Track Grand Prix gives you precise cornering and control, even at a good clip.
You betcha. Better, better.
Wider is better. The Y-Track Grand Prix by Pontiac.
If this is you, communications has finally caught up with the way you live. Introducing AT&T Personal Network. All the ways you want to communicate in one network with the same low rate of 10 cents a minute on your calls, even wireless. One bill, one number to call for more personalized service. Just call 1-800-4ATT now or visit our website. AT&T Personal Network. It could change forever the way you communicate. Call 1-800-4ATT now.
Okay, you probably think they look alike. But with Gateway, you get basic help over the phone for as long as you own it. After a month, you pay for it. Here, you get a color printer. Nope, not here. This one you can trade in toward the purchase of a new one after 2 years. Yours forever. Still think they look alike? We'll build you a PC with an Intel Pentium 2 processor for $1,598. Call us or come into Gateway Country.
It's Dad.
I'd like 6,000 chicken fajitas, please.
Mom.
Stewie, why don't you play in the other room?
Baby.
Why don't you fry in Hades?
Brother.
I'm gonna go get wasted. Okay, look both ways.
Sister.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed I could die.
Look, I just rented it. And they're gonna be ticked, though. The penis broke off while I was loading it into the car.
Dog.
Well, that's a bad part anyway.
Family Guy.
Shoot, these things are lucky.
Next, followed by an all-new Simpsons on Fox.
Back up and hopefully shoot to 5 in the same pocket.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem. I think that was the toughest thing. It would appear now that the rack is his for the taking. And there it is.
Notice the cue ball. Center of the table. Bing.
Roddy's lucky to avoid a slushing call. And as you can see, there's some action on table number 1.
Our low fares give you the freedom to see all the big games.
Welcome back to Miami in the Pontiac Y-Track Grand Prix postgame show.
Well, putting Super Bowl 33 in perspective for us, let's check in with guys who, for Super Bowl coverage, they are indeed veterans. Let's go back upstairs one more time to Pat Summerall and John Madden.
All right, JB, thanks very much. And, John, I can't help but go back to one of the early games in the regular season. We saw Denver destroy Dallas, and they haven't diminished too much in their output, have they?
No, at that day, they just shredded the Dallas Cowboys, and they looked like a perfect football team. And I think if we're going to put this game in perspective, the one thing I want to mention is, first of all, what a joy is, being with you for another year, doing another Super Bowl with our group. But the other thing is we can talk about Terrell Davis, and he was great today, and John Elway was great. He was the MVP, and Rod Smith. I mean, all those things, but it was all made possible by the offensive line. I mean, that offensive line did a super job of run blocking and pass protecting. And I think in this victory and this championship, they can't be forgotten.
And you really can't forget about the job they did all year long, as well as that. Back to JB, and we'd just like to say, both of us would like to say to you guys on the set, thank you very much for including us.
There's no question that the feeling is extremely mutual indeed, and those guys gave their final thoughts. Let's start first with Chris Collinsworth.
You know, as I look around the National Football League, every once in a while there becomes a coach that seems to have a little better plan. And today, Mike Shanahan became the 6th coach in National Football League history to win back-to-back Super Bowls. And I really see no end in sight for this man and what he's doing right now. And I'd like to echo those thoughts. My first year here, guys, I have had a ball. It has been fun.
I'll tell you, John Madden has called Mike Shanahan the most aggressive offensive play caller in the NFL, and that was certainly evident today with the Denver Broncos offensive attack. Hats off to Alex Gibbs, as John Madden mentioned. That offensive line did an outstanding job. You have to add to that list Greg Robinson, defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. What an aggressive game plan. What an outstanding playoff run that defense has had.
You know, it looks like John Elway might pull a Michael Jordan on us and retire a champion. Just 14 yards tonight shy of tying Joe Montana's all-time passing yardage in a Super Bowl with 1,128. Montana had 1,142. And right before I left the podium, John and I had a little small discussion, and we were sharing moments about what it was like to repeat as a world champion. Very difficult. The stress and strain that a quarterback goes through is very, very hard, and John is going to give that a lot of thought. And we had that little discussion. My gut feeling right now, just from that little conversation, is that John Elway will not return next year, no matter Pat Bowlen, no matter Mike Shanahan, no matter what. New stadium might be a nice little goodbye if they would name the stadium John Elway Stadium. I don't have a stadium named after me. I would have liked to have that, but I didn't.
Let it go. If John Elway does not come back, then he will break a historical trend in that no NFL quarterback has ever retired in the same year that his team has won a Super Bowl, but we'll see what happens. And folks, we certainly want to thank you all very much for staying with us today throughout this coverage of Super Bowl 33. So for all of our guys here, including Ron Pitts, Pam Oliver, Susie Colbert, and Bill Moss, and of course the Fox Sports family here in Miami, we thank you so very much. We'll see you next year. Family Guy up next.